One of the things about this show that's so fantastic is that we do a lot of business in this show. There's like this conversation going on about, I don't want to say, but it involves sanitation.
Yeah.
And Blake Bowser Blake Bowser and Scott Schweitzer are just getting some work done here. And generally what happens after the show, little people know, Blake, we've given his own conference room to because there's just so much work that gets done in this facility. It's awesome. But we're now in the Bakersfield Speedway section of the show, and I had the chance to go out there, I think in my third time to the track this season, but I actually stayed for the whole time and I saw some incredible races, and Scott's with us now. And our co-host today is Blake Bowser, so he may have some questions for you.
I think you wrote a story this past weekend, didn't you?
I
read it.
He was doing it all. He was the man of many hats.
I did it all.
I read the story.
I actually wrote that story on my phone. It's just when you have people of the quality of Mike Mosier, and what's the name of the other guy, the other announcer too?
His name's David Sullivan.
Yeah,
but
Sully.
He goes by Sully.
Sully, right?
Sully, great announcer. Worked at Mesa Marin.
Yeah.
Took a little while off from the racing industry. He did work at the Speedway, actually, to begin with, and then he went to Mesa Marin, and now he's back.
Yeah.
And we just love him. Totally different style, but, man, anybody working with Mike's so easy to get along with.
Oh, it's just,
they make a great team.
It's such a pleasure to deal with Mike, and we had him on last week, and he did a great job co-hosting last week. But you had some great races. I was really struck by Cody Laney. First off, I mean, I don't think anybody saw that coming. He just dominated that modified race.
Well, you know what? Cody Laney is the future of racing.
Yeah.
They start young like Cody did. He's had some great opportunities. Some doors have opened for him getting in the late model for Fringers. And, he's fortunate that his dad, is the personal mechanic for the Bartels. So he's been around racing, been around some great equipment. And Bill Henderson, a great supporter of the racetrack, had a car available, put him in it, and look what happened. I mean, the kid just dominated.
Yeah, I mean, that seemed like a pretty wide margin of victory there.
Yeah.
It was about a half track at some point.
Saturday night was a perfect example of the obstacles that we have to endure with dirt track racing. We had rain on Thursday, had a ton of rain, so the track was real wet and soft, and then it showed with the racers because you either had to go real high or real low. The middle of the track was just brutal, rough. Not really anything we could go out and probably work on it, but it's going to come right back because it's so wet and it's just pumping water.
Turn 4 was just it was actually kind of fun to watch it because it was so difficult to navigate that turn 4. Now, Cody Lane had no problem with it there, but you actually had a rare rollover, as we were talking about when I came over, in the Western Pro Stocks or Street Stocks division.
Yeah, it's very rare that we get a car upside down, but we did. We don't know. We're thinking it had some mechanical failure in the right rear suspension issues, but it went over. Luckily, the driver's okay. But, and Cody's out in the lead, so he doesn't have to deal with lap traffic or all that. Right. So he's got a little bit better. He can pick his line to go where he wants a little bit better than the guys that are trying to reel him in and dealing with traffic and dealing with people that are bunched up. But great kid, future of racing, great. I'm happy. I think that's his second win at the racetrack. I think he won the 4th of July show last year. So kid's on a roll.
And it was. We had so many cautions in the American stocks and hobby stocks and in the street stocks later on that was like caution free, and we were done. I was climbing down the stairs and you were already gone.
It was a good night of racing. Like I said, the track was real wet and heavy, makes it the drivers like that. So go through a lot of tear-offs.
Just a quick reminder: we're going to award the Grumpy Griff later tonight or later this afternoon, and a guy that you're familiar with is talking about future racing, Nicholas Johnson, leading the votes right now. I mean, he's and the reason why I put him in there is I kind of have been sticking to winners, for the last few weeks because those rules always change, which makes Griff even angrier with me. But Brian Childress sent me a note. And I think Tim Carey sent one too. It's like, Brian Childress really mattered because Brian Childress won the race against Nicholas Johnson. He said, look, this kid needs to be in there.
He is. And the thing about it is the kid, he's not starting up front. He's getting up there in points. So the way our point system works, he has to start back a little, mid-pack, but he works his way right up to the field. I think he was involved in an issue, had to get sent to the back of the field, and five laps later, there he is again. And the kid's a clean driver. His car's not beat up. He's not using people up. He comes from a great racing family, so they've taught him well. And the kid, Yeah, another kid future racing. That's what it's all about, even for drag racing or any of us. We got to look to the younger generation to keep feeding the sport, and it's cool that out there on the dirt that we've got some great kids coming up.
All right, we have a Memorial Day show coming up this weekend. We got sport mods, IMCA stocks, mini stocks, mod lights, mini dwarfs. It's Jack FM night, right? We had KZZ night last week. Now we have Jack FM night.
Yeah, we got a lot of radio nights going on out there. Yeah, this is our Memorial Day weekend. There's a big race in Santa Maria, and it's kind of common courtesy. We give them the modifieds and stuff like that, late models and deals. So we run on Friday or Saturday night, and then on Sunday the sport mods run over in Santa Maria.
Okay.
They do 2-day shows, so it's kind of cool. We kind of we've done this for the last 5-6 years with Santa Maria. So
and then then the weekend after that we have sport mods, or modifieds, hobby stocks, American stocks, and hard tops. And that is that another free Coke night?
Yeah, free Coca-Cola.
All right, there we go.
We're just giving it all away.
Giving it all away. $12 general admission for this weekend, $10 for seniors, and $10 for military. $5 for kids 6 to 12. And since Griff's not here, by the way, just so you know, Blake, camping and parking is free. So there you go. I will
I should have tossed that in. Yeah,
yeah. Tom Mock,
and that camping is like race night only, not during the week. All you campers that keep showing up during the week, you can't camp out there. I'm not a Walmart.
Yeah, it's not a Walmart.
not a Walmart.
Okay, it's always just an aside, by the way. Whenever I've gone out to the events you guys keep having at Chewy's and things, the people who are camping at Walmart, I mean, they set up like a whole deal there in the parking lot. It's just bizarre.
That's not a one-night deal. That purple one with the white stripe, he's been there since 2012, I swear.
Is this Roger Holder?
That's
picture?
Roger Holder. He goes straight for Blake and he turns left for me. And
he did both last weekend.
Yeah, and if you look at this picture, it's kind of interesting. If you look at the right side of the car, the frame rail there is into the ground.
Yeah,
I mean that's how fast they're going down the straightaway, and they just sling him in there so hard the car rolls over, and the. Man, it's just crazy the speed that these modifieds are getting around the track.
Terrific shots from. I love this one too. This guy, up on the 3 wheels right here. This is what I actually found in my driveway on Saturday. A car on 3 wheels. So anyway, that's another story altogether. And there's the man Cody Laney himself with on his way to victory. I mean, just so impressive and so smooth.
Yeah, and if you
go back to that photo again,
if you notice the name on the roof right there, that's R.C. Whitwell's car.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
So,
right.
Bill, like I said, is a great guy, and he's got multiple cars, and that's actually the car that R.C. drives. And R.C. got a ride back east, so moved back east. So that's the same car that Bobby Hogue won a couple of weeks ago, and so now Cody showed up. So if anybody's looking for a ride, that's the car you want to be in right there, because it's got some great equipment and ready to go.
And more from Tom Mock, and then here is Cody Laney in the victory lane, and what a great win that was for him. Overall, he wins it. Troy Morris Jr. is in third. We mentioned Roger Holder, one of our nominees for Driver of the Week, and I tell you what, a great weekend. We got to consider him for our overall Driver of the Week because he won a race at your place. He won a heat race at your place, and then he gets third in the modified race. Robbie Sawyer was there, Ethan Dotson, Brad Pounds, Brett Bennett, Kyle Griffith, Danny Lauer, and Troy Folger. And you mentioned, Cody Laney beating a group of guys very experienced and very solid in this race.
Yeah, it's no, just like any other division out there. I mean, there's no slouches. You got to earn it, and Cody did, so it's a great deal. And Ethan, again, a top 5 first year in the A-mods, and I think he's leading our points right now with Brad Pounds and Robbie Sawyer real close to him. So it's going to be a cool season to see how this all shakes down.
Okay, moving on now to what we call the Western Pro Stocks, but actually for Bakersfield, we'll call them the Super Stocks as well. And I tell you what, this was my favorite race of the night because Lee Jensen and company just got after it. Lee Jensen and Clay Daly had an epic battle in this race. I mean, it was fun to watch.
They did, and that's what's cool about this division. Is in the past, it struggled for car counts and stuff, but now the division's growing. It's got some great momentum. Some late model drivers are making visits, driving cars, and then that's the product of what we seen Saturday night. You got guys that are able to run 5, 6, 7 laps side by side and never touch each other, and they're swapping the lead.
I think this is midway through the race with Daly and Lee Jensen battling, and so you can see that Daly had trouble in turn 4 there, and that gave Lee Jensen the opportunity. He goes high side, but on the low side, here comes Daly, and it just was back and forth. I mean, it was so much fun to watch. And Daly, said I think in the post race that he had some issues later on in the race, and he was trying to figure out what line he's going to go on. I think at this point too. But what a race! Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a great show, and like I said, those guys are great racers, and either one of them could have won this race, but they swapped the lead back and forth, and Lee Jensen's had some motor issues in the past. They've got that figured out, and Lee's always tough to beat in a street stock. So, and Clay Daly being a late model driver, he's got all the tricks, and he knows how to get around that track as well. So put on a great show for the fans.
Absolutely. All right, let's get back to the pictures of this and get to the results quickly here. Again, Lee Jensen with the win, Clay Daly in second, Lonnie Welch there in third, Tim Randolph and Mike Johnson fourth and fifth, Wayne Kaufman in sixth, Brady Bell in seventh, Matt Mayo in eighth, Bewley in ninth, and Frank Nyback was 10th. And moving on now to the hobby stocks and go through some of these pictures again. The story of the deal in this class is the domination of Kevin Collier, who now wins his fourth consecutive race.
The guy's tough to beat on the track. I mean, he just shows up, starts leading our points, so he's got to start deep in the field and just picks them off. And by the end towards the latter part of the race, he's always up there at the top. But hats off to Brent Hosfeld, put on a great show. He came down from Porterville and had a good going, but it's tough to beat.
1-2 finish for the Porterville guys. And Robert Lawler, I thought at one point was going to get up in there and challenge, but Collier just held him off.
Yeah, it's tough to beat.
Aaron Stewart there. Travis Avila was in fifth, and Perry Alderman in sixth. Chris Settlemyer in seventh. Ralph Cook in eighth. Gene Glover in ninth. And is it Alice or Alive? I'm not sure. I might have misspelled that, so we'll get to that later. American stocks, and this race was not boring at all. Yeah, did you notice that?
Lost half his car.
Yeah. Chris, I think we have Brian Childress won this race over Nicholas Johnson, but we had a nice little 4-car crash in this thing. I don't know if we have that video, Chris, or not. Now, this race I think had about 7 cautions, 10 cautions. It had a good car count, so it's going to create a sort of rough and tumble to begin with, and it did kind of narrow down. I think 9 or 10 cars were left standing by the end of the deal here, but. Man, turn 4, you got cars on fire, you got cars ramming. It was just fun to watch.
It's a typical Saturday night, right, Scott?
Hey, that's what we do.
That's why the fans show up.
That's right.
Yeah, well, you pay to see destruction.
Yeah, you pay, and that's whose car was that caught on fire?
Oh, that's Mike Waters.
Mike Waters. Right. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Right, and then Brandon Ratcliffe had nowhere to go, and right into the 25 car, and that was the end of night for everybody.
It's unfortunate that something like that happened.
I think it was Cody Slide in 25 car.
But you know what? They're going 3 wide. These guys, the track is hooked up. They're going forward. They get 3 wide, and if they have one bobble or one guy gets sideways, that's the product of it. So it's an unfortunate deal.
This is Waters' car that was on fire at some point.
That's just free fumigation that's taking place there.
Yeah. That's a new program we're offering at Bakersfield Speedway.
Right. Yeah, he had a little transmission leak or something, but unfortunately it ran out of oil. Oil decided to jump on the exhaust pipe, so we had to eliminate that. So, which he had a great run going to.
Brian Childress with the win, and he says Nicholas Johnson's the guy to watch, and Trevor Baker in third, Roger Welch in fourth, Tara Childress in fifth, Charles Morrison in sixth, Tracy Childress seventh, Mark Irwin eighth, Mike Waters in ninth, and Cody Johnson in 10th. And by the way, if you want to go on our Facebook page, I know. If you go to the Facebook page, we have video of the T-bone of that crash from Ratcliffe's car.
Going the in-car.
The in-car cameras. Take a look at that. NMRA Midgets, another fun race, but Chuck West got out ahead and really rolled in this one and beating West Evans, Bruce Hiroshima, Scott Dobson, and Ace Kale as your top 5. So there you go. All right, so this weekend, again, get out there. And now you guys what weekend are you guys off or dark?
We are dark 4th of July weekend. Okay. We do our Richie McGowan Memorial and the fireworks show the weekend before, which is June 27th this year. Okay, so we got a solid month of racing before we have a quick break for the 4th of July. We'll be right back after these messages with Blake. He'll talk Summit Series again.